Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the review realm. Once again, we got another album review for you. If you are new to the show, please hit the like button on this, subscribe to the show. It always helps us out with our album reviews. We're chugging them out here, and we hope that you are enjoying them as you are probably listening to these albums as we talk about too. We encourage comments and everything. And as always, joining me, the SLB himself, the other half of the review realm, Sam.
Hey guys, I'm looking forward to this one. I'm going to start with saying that I hope the people who are watching, who are fans of some of these bands, are pretty either shocked and impressed at our scale. Because the next band we're about to review is another one that I don't know about you, John. I haven't actually ever delved into either.
No, this band it's been a name I've always heard of, but
hmm
then they went away for a while and their name popped up recently again because I think they've reunited permanently. I said, "Oh yeah." And like you just said, I don't think I've ever actually sat down and listened to this band. So this will be kind of a first for us. And of course, we're talking about the band Poison the Well, and this is a big deal. This is their first album in 17 years, and this is their sixth album, Peace in Place.
So, do you want to start with the singles on this one, or because I actually didn't get to listen to any of the singles prior to this?
Well, this will be surprising. There is only one sole single on this album, which is very uncommon these days. But I was surprised. I said, "Oh, there's only one." And the one single that is on this album is Weeping Tones, smack dab in the middle of the album. What did you think of that one?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good representation. How am I going to word this? It's a good representation of what I thought the album was going to be. So, for those of you who don't know, I did not grow up listening to metalcore or hardcore. It was very rare I did. Obviously, like Suicidal Tendencies or the occasional Killswitch Engage song. So, as post college, I've really dug into this. So, the albums we have listened to, there's been like one or two I can't recall off the top of my head that we have listened to. I'm like, you know what? I'm actually digging what I'm hearing. So I thought this was going to be a good representation of what I was expecting, but we'll get into that further.
Weeping Tones, I thought, yeah, it was I understood why they picked it as a single. It picked it back up from the previous song. I thought it was an interesting slowdown for the bridge in there. This band slows it down quite a few times on this album, and I will say, for some reason, those are the parts I really, really like on this.
You see, this is where you and I are gonna definitely agree. So interestingly enough, I think we can really break the album down into two halves here. I think the first half of the album is that post-hardcore. Okay, I hear metalcore again. I think of All That Remains. I think of Killswitch Engage. I think of like these heavy, chuggy, um, New England metal bands from like that period. But they were one. They're more. It has that more of a post-hardcore sound. That punky, fast. I don't want to use the term screaming, but like more like that yelling that hardcore is known for. And I'm like, all right, I was kind of digging it. It was really getting into it. And about actually Weeping Tones going into A Wake of Vultures is where the album starts to turn into very post hardcore. And there are moments I'm like, wait a minute, am I listening to The Ocean or even sections of Mastodon?
Yeah, Awake of Vultures. It one thing I was gonna say about this album is
Mhm.
we reviewed something very similar to this recently, and I only bring this up because these two bands are going on tour together, but converge. We literally just
Yep.
talked about their new album, and I got a lot of similarities from
Mhm.
that album. However, I think Converge did it a little bit better in terms of variety. Um, with this album, I think Poison the Well, everything, the musicianship is decent, but it kind of all blends together a little bit. I really thought that with Wake of Vultures and right, I think probably Bloom too. It seems to follow the same formula throughout with these songs, with a few, with a minor exception maybe here and there.
I felt like to me, like again, I like these tracks: Wax Mask, Primal Bloom, Thoroughbreds. I all thought they had that very post-hardcore, um, hardcore punk sound, and then around Awake of Vultures, Bad Bodies, Drifting Without, towards the end, the whole album starts to like feel like it just flows into this very slower, melodic, like like it almost like settles down. We talk about albums becoming too long and dragging out. I did not feel like that. I felt like it there's very strong, powerful, I don't want to say chaotic mess, but in a sense, that sound that hardcore punk gives into this more like drifting off on a boat into like the horizon feel. It's the best way I can explain it. But
Yeah, this album it really goes up and down. Like I think like Wax Mask like goes right into it, given like immediately given those hardcore vibes.
Mhm.
Thoroughbred was another one where I thought these guys and Converge, they go very well together. And another one I really liked that I thought was solid was Bad Bodies. It was a smooth transition between Awake of Vultures previously, and I liked that how that one sounded.
Mhm.
Um, Probably the most one of the more interesting songs on the album because it seemed to be one of the only ones that was like each song almost seemed to have a part where it was more easygoing, a little bit slower. And I think Drifting Without End is the one where it did it completely,
Yes,
and I liked it.
I really enjoyed it. I was just like, all right, this is not what I expected. Again, you're dealing with the hardcore punk. Not familiar with this band, so to keep in mind, I don't know what any of their previous work sounds like.
Right.
So you and I can come out and be like, hey, yeah, I'm all on board, and then all of you can in the comments go like, ah, this is nothing what they sounded like 15 years ago. That's cool, buddy. Tell me what you like, and I will check it out. But no, I did like that. I did like that. There was the vocalist at times reminded me of the lead singer of Neurosis when
Mm.
he does. Oh man, I mentioned "Crack the Sky" because I was getting "Crack the Sky" vibes. I think this was the song. Um, but when the vocalist of Neurosis was on that album for a guest spot, so I did like this, and I did like the ups and downs. I actually really liked the second half of the album. Um, not that I like the first, but if I was to pick the two, I did like the second.
I would agree with that. I felt like there was less downs in the second part of the album. Melted, I seem to like almost check out a little bit. I didn't have too much to add on that one, but plagued them the most. This is where I wrote like specifically for some reason I like the parts where it slows down. And
Mhm.
I don't know if you caught this, Sam, but did you catch the hidden track?
I, I I did because I was looking to kind of see the album earlier, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of a long, and then it has the asterisk at the end, pretty much saying, oh yeah, it stops here and then continues at the end. I'm like, all right. So no, I did like it. It's cool. You don't see that too often anymore. I feel like.
No, this band did something that's used to be a thing way back when, but it's not really a common thing anymore to release just one single promoting the album and then to do this hidden track. Like, yeah, you're absolutely right. You don't see that a lot these days. Yeah, and also I think the production on this too was not bad. I think it was SharpTone Records that did this, who I've not heard of before, but everything seemed to sound fine. And 42 minutes is not that's not a terribly long amount of time. So I thought they did it just right with that amount of time and 10 songs too.
Hmm. No, it was good. Like I said, I would like to hear more of their albums. I know this is what their sixth, so they don't have a lot. Probably an easy discography to get through. But in the comments, guys, let us know what albums you think from them we should check out.
No, definitely. Maybe they get that metalcore stamp on there. Maybe because I didn't really get metalcore from this.
Nope.
Like you said, I think of like Killswitch Engage and like all that remains and like the shout like the New England stuff. I know these guys are not from New England, but maybe the previous material is why I really got like hardcore vibes on this one. Like I said, I only make the comparison just because they're going on tour together. I think Converge did it a little bit better, but this was still pretty decent overall.
I will be revisiting this one. Ironically, as we're talking about this, they're not coming to Converge down in my area, but as of day of recording, they're going to be in Tampa tomorrow. And I was like, oh yeah, they're going to be at Crowbar and they're sold out. So hopefully it's a good show.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll have might have to go back to this one late when we do our top 10, see if it fits the criteria. But yeah, that's pretty much our thoughts on Poison the Well's new album. Geez, their first one in 17 years. Let us know in the comments section what you think, why we're wrong, and anything else you want to add. Let us know. We will see you guys for the next album review very shortly. And as always, do not forget to join the Bedlam.